Hi everyone, it's Lindy on here from Pink Whisper Designs. Today we're going to be using this brand new adorable peacock stamp from Lawn Fawn, and I'm also going to show you how to make a really fun background using the Nuvo Shimmer Powders. So we're going to start off by using the Strathmore Mixed Media Cardstock, and then these are the Nuvo Shimmer Powders here. And we're going to use these 4 on the bottom. There's currently 8 colors available. This one is Solar Flare, Violet Brocade, Cherry Bomb, and Blue Blitz. And I just love the names as well. So we're going to use those 4. I'm going to grab a piece of cardstock here, and this measures 6 by 8. And I've popped it into my clear snap color catcher. And I also have a Ranger craft mat underneath this as well, just to kind of keep the surface as clean as possible. Now I'm spritzing this paper with some water using the Tim Holtz Distress Sprayer, and then I'm going to start to shake these powders right onto this damp paper. Now you do want to shake these on. You don't want to squeeze these bottles at all because a ton of it will come out. So now I'm going to use that Violet Brocade, and again I'm just shaking it out. Now I did notice some of them come out a little bit faster than others. If you do find that it's not coming out quite fast enough, you can take a pin and just put it in the opening there at the top a little bit and just open that back up. Sometimes the powders just kind of get clogged up at the very tip. So it's a really easy fix. Just slide the pin down in there and move it around a little bit, and then things will go just fine. And I wanted to point out on that Violet Brocade, you get these beautiful multi-colors like pinks and blues and purples. And then there's the Cherry Bomb. And then this last one, the Blue Blitz, this one is the one that it got stuck a little bit. So I took a pin and just opened it back up, and you can see that it's coming out perfectly fine now. And that one did come out a little bit faster. So again, you don't want to squeeze on these. You just want to shake them out because you will get a ton. And you'll see a little bit of powder goes a long, long way here. So I'm just spritzing everything off now, just making it, getting the surface nice and wet. But I didn't want to tip the cardstock on its side and blend the colors that way. I was afraid I might get too much of a muddy color. So I have a damp paintbrush here and a damp paper towel, and I'm just kind of moving those colors around gently with the brush. Just kind of filling in those areas where I need a little bit of color so that I'm not mixing the colors too much together, just kind of blending them out. Now what I'm also doing as I'm doing this is wherever there is powder that is concentrated, it'll almost look like little granular areas. You do want to dampen those and blend those out. If you don't, those will dry, and later on if someone were to touch the card or pick it up, they could rub off. And again, because the concentration of color is very high, a lot of color would rub off. So you do want to make sure that you dampen those areas. And now what I'm doing here is I'm just taking a dry paper towel and I'm just going to blot up some color. Now you could just set this aside and let it dry, but I did want to blot it off just a little bit. I do want to mention that I do have another video coming out shortly after this one, within a day or two after this one, which I'm going to be also showing you the Nuvo powders. I'm going to do a galaxy sky background, and there I did just let it air dry, so you can see the difference when you watch the next video. Now what I pointed to there was a few little of those yellow granular areas. So I'm taking a wet brush here, I'm just dipping it in water, and I'm just blending those out. So anywhere I see that, I'm just kind of diluting that a little bit here. And that doesn't take long, just a few seconds here to do that. You could also spritz it with a little bit more water to do that, but I just didn't want the paper to get too wet, so I thought taking a damp brush would be just as easy. And these shimmer powders, I'll show you here in a minute, but they have this beautiful glittery, shimmery look to them, and you'll see it even more when it dries. So now I'm going to grab the Bristol Strathmore 100-pound cardstock to do my stamping, and this is the adorable little peacock stamp. This is called the Peacock Before and After stamp set, and you get all these cute little sentiments as well, and the coordinating die. And I'm going to take my VersaFine Onyx Black ink and ink this up. I'm going to go ahead and stamp that. And then I'm just going to grab the coordinating die, and I'm going to tape that down with a little bit of purple tape. Now I'm going to go ahead and run that through my Tim Holtz Sizzix Sidekick machine. And there you can see that it's all set. So we're going to be using the Zig Clean Color Real Brush pens in the violet and cobalt blue. And I'm also going to be using my blender, the blender pen that coordinates with these particular pens. So I'm going to start off with that lighter blue color, and then I'm coming in with the purple tone. And then I'm going to use that blender to blend those two colors together. And these two colors I thought blended together just so beautifully. Kind of gave me like a purpley blue color, which is exactly what I was trying to get to. And I'm just going to keep him a little bit lighter up towards the top there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the top of his head there, just give the two shades and then just pull those down towards the center. Now I'm going to use the bright yellow and the scarlet red just to do the beak and his little feet there. And I'm just going to again pull that color down towards the tip of his beak. And I'm going to do the same thing here with his little feet. Then I'm going to go back to those two colors that we used on his body there. And I'm going to start with the blue tone. And then that purpley tone. And then I'm going to use the blender. So I'm going to keep it the darkest closest to his body. And then I'm just going to pull those colors out till they get lighter and lighter. So this is a really simple blending that I'm doing here. And I'm going to do that same thing for all of the feathers. Now these are water-based markers, so they're going to blend really easily. You could also use a water brush if you don't have this blender pen. A water brush works just fine. And I do love on these pens, the tip is super detailed, so you can get into all of these little tiny areas on these Lawn Fawn stamps. So now you can see how that color blends together so pretty. And now I'm going to go ahead and take the purple, and I'm going to do on his little feathers there, I'm going to just put a little bit of that purple color sort of towards the bottom of this area. And then I'm going to pull it up towards the top, just like I did with the feathers. Keeping it lightest up towards the top. And if the pen gets a little too dark, just clean it off on your scrap paper. Now I'm going to take the bright yellow and I'm going to do the little centers of each of those. So when you change colors with the blender pen, you do want to clean it off on your scrap paper before you go to the next color. So there you can see he's all colored in. So now I'm going to take my Nuvo Crystal Glaze. This is just a crystal clear glaze. It's going to give a little bit of a shine and make it raised up and kind of like a glossy finish. So now using the sunrise backdrop and the cardstock in the sticky note, this is a 100-pound cardstock, I'm going to go ahead and run that sunrise through my die cutting machine. So now I'm going to take the Lawn Fawn cardstock in the Mermaid, again a 100-pound cardstock, and we're going to go ahead and This measures 5.5 and approximately 3 inches, which turned out to be a lot wider than I needed it to be. So I'm going to take these simple stitched Hillside border dies, and I'm going to take actually the one on the left there, the one with the least rounded edge, and you'll see that again here in a minute. So it's that one there that I'm going to grab. And now I'm going to place that up towards the top of this cardstock, which I do end up cutting down a couple of times here to get the right length. So I ran that through, and you can see we get that beautiful stitch border along the top. And now it was still a little too wide. I'm trying to figure out exactly where I want that to be. I'm marking that with a pencil, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that to size. So you just want to adjust it to the size that you need. So I'm going to put that in my Tim Holtz tonic trimmer here, and I'm going to cut that down. So now that's going to fit on there perfectly. So now I want to determine where everything's going to be for my sentiment. So I'm going back to that peacock stamp set, and this says, "Today is your day, strut your stuff." So that's going to be the sentiment on the bottom of the card here. So again, I'm going to place it in my MISTI stamp positioner just to determine with the layout of this. And I'm going to grab those two sentiments there. And I'm just lining them up along the bottom here and trying to center that as best I can. So now I can remove the sunrise and the peacock and just leave that border there. And I'm going to take this Juice Bar ink pad, again from Lawn Fawn, and this is from the Farmer's Market Cube Pack, and you get 4 little cube ink pads in here. And I'm going to ink this up. Now this is a water-based dye ink, so usually with the water-based dye inks it takes a couple of stampings. So you'll see here that I stamped it once, and then I did go back and stamp it one more time. And that's just because these inks sit up on top of these acrylic stamps, so sometimes it just takes a couple of stampings to fill in all the letters. So now there you can see what a beautiful stamping I got. And I love that purple on that Mermaid cardstock. Now I wanted to show you this background up close. I just can't get over how beautiful this is. And you can see that gorgeous shimmer that it has. So that's going to sit behind this sunrise backdrop. And I'm just trying to figure out the best place for it here. So I decided I liked it right there. So I'm just going to trace around it with my pencil. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim off that excess. Again, I'm going back to my tonic trimmer to do the trimming. And all those little leftover pieces I'm going to keep for another project. I have like a little container with all of these background pieces in there. And whenever I just need a quick little piece of a background, I can grab it from my little bin. So, because I hate to waste that stuff. So now I'm just going to get that right behind that panel. And again, you can see how gorgeous that is. And I'm going to go ahead and take my 1/4 inch double-sided tape from Lawn Fawn, and I'm going to place that all around the back of this. Now, I did put plenty of it on here because the background cardstock did get a little tiny bit warped with all of that water and everything. So I want to make sure that this stays nice and flat. So put enough adhesive. You could use your glue as well here, but I decided I thought the tape would hold it down a little bit better. And then I didn't trim it quite enough, so I'm just grabbing my scissors here and I'm just going to trim that little bit of excess that hangs over the side there. And again, they're up close. You can still see that shimmer. So now I'm going to create an A2 size card. So I'm cutting this cardstock at 5.5 by 8.5. And this is my We Are Memory Keepers trim and scoreboard. So it cuts and scores. And to score, you're going to flip that panel over and that raised edge. You'll line up your paper along that raised edge. And then I'm going to score this at 4 1/4. And I am using my Lawn Fawn bone folder, but a bone folder does come with this scoreboard. It's stored down at the bottom of the board. And you know I love this little trim and scoreboard. So now I'm going to have I put tape, double-sided tape all across the back of this panel, and I'm going to attach it to my card. So I'm just making sure everything's lined up properly here. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach this Mermaid cardstock as well. Now for the little peacock, I'm going to use my Gina K foam squares. These are the white foam squares. And I'm just removing the backing, and then I'm going to attach that to my card. So that'll give us a little bit more dimension here. So now I have these Nuvo embellishments. And we're going to be using the stars. This is the Peacock Feathers collection. But there's also hexagons, butterflies, and aqua flakes. And these are the little stars here. I did use the butterflies on a previous card, which was the Sizzix Happy Birthday Shaker card. If you want to take a look at that, you can go to my website. And now here I'm using my Marvy Jewel Picker to pick up these little tiny little stars. And I'm going to use the glue tube from Lawn Fawn to attach all of these. And using this little jewel picker makes this so much easier to put all these on here. I know my husband saw the card. He said, "You didn't put all these little stars on here, did you? That must have taken forever." But you can see that it really doesn't. It makes it so simple to pick them up. It's got like a little sticky end on it. A little sticky end on it, and it's really easy to grab these little embellishments. So I went ahead and attached all of those with the glue. And there you can see the finished card and all that beautiful shimmer that we have from these Nuvo Shimmer Powders, which I absolutely love. And don't forget to check out the card coming out in the next day or two, which is going to be the Beam Me Up birthday card, also using the Nuvo Shimmer Powders. I was just afraid I didn't want the video to be too long, so I did it in 2 separate videos. But it's going to be a beautiful sky background. So thank you so much for visiting today. I hope you have a great day. If you liked today's video, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to visit me at pinkwhisperdesigns.com. Bye-bye.